I mean, ask yourself this: what can I do to nullify the impact that high premiums is having on me getting as much metal as I can for my money? I mean, we get it. Premiums are simply a part of the game and something we have to live with as buyers of gold and silver, unfortunately. But over the last several months, while gold and silver prices have gone up, so have premiums. I mean, we finally get a pullback, and just when you think your patience is going to be rewarded, you scour through websites and emails looking for a great deal, only to find that while prices have fallen, dealers have also raised their premiums, essentially making the price the same. What in the actual... Frustrated, irritated, and hard to get along with, you leave your computer in a huff because this just isn't fair. And I get it. We've all been there. And while it's still a smart move to make the purchase, it is still frustrating as it has a real impact on your stacking budget and how much metal you get for that budget. In Rational Emotional Behavioral Theory, REBT, they teach us that it's not just the events that happen in one's life, but it's more about your beliefs connected to those events that lead to an emotional and behavioral reactivity. And I know, you're already wondering where am I going with this, Dr. Stacker. I'm trying to highlight there's no point in getting mad or whining about premiums because it simply doesn't change a thing. It is what it is. Instead, you have to make a choice. Complain and focus on the problem being high premiums, or focus on solutions. As a part of our human condition, unfortunately, we prefer solutions or to problems that don't require us to change our behavior or our thoughts. Well, that's not what we're going to do here at Stackers University. If the problem is greedy mints and dealers and wholesalers and crooked COMEX screwing us stackers, what options do you have? None, really. So what can you really do? Besides the obvious solution, which is one of the tenets of Stackers University, you simply focus on buying the lowest premium, most recognized product you can get your hands on. And before someone says anything, I've been through this many times and done this in many videos, and I'll link one of them at the end. But in a nutshell, it's all about the spread. Meaning, what you pay in the premium is far more than what you receive when you sell it. And it doesn't make sense to buy higher premium items unless the price difference is negligible. Contrary to what everyone says or other people say, one, for the average bullion stacker, gold is gold and silver is silver. The only thing that makes a difference is the number of ounces you really have. Focus on that. Instead, everything else is noise. And two, metals sell. All metals sell. Your LCS and online dealers are always buying. With those obvious solutions out of the way, let's talk about one major thing or one major way you can counter or minimize the impact of high premiums and how it's impacting your stacking. When you start by asking yourself, what can I do to nullify the impact that high premiums is having on me getting as much metal as I can for my money? That also subtle shift actually activates your brain and starts to help you find solutions to this problem. When we focus on solutions, we realize that one of the first things we can do is simply increase our stacking budget so that we can get more metal. Over on Discord, a little while back, we started a monthly savings challenge. We'll be doing that again, so be on the lookout for that. But I will also share with you that I do this exercise around every 6 months or so. And the last time I did it, I freed up $500 a month, which I did a video about, and I'll link to that video at the end. And I'm gonna use air quotes and say that I was only able to free up $300 by making some changes to how I spend my money, which means I now have another $300 for my stacking budget. And after this video, I want you to go through a similar process and see how much you can redirect from one area of your life and reallocate that over to your stacking budget. Almost all of us have some fat in our budget, and now is the time to trim it. Even if you don't think that you have any to trim, at the end, I'm gonna give you some tips that will help you as well. So here's what I did to find more money to counteract the impact of high premiums. First, I went through every credit card statement and bank statement line by line. And this is important because most of us receive these bills electronically, which means we're more inclined to simply look at the total and guesstimate if that's the right amount, and if it is, we pay it. Instead, I went through each statement line by line looking for fraudulent or reoccurring payments that I was not aware of. And what did I find? I found a $15 Amazon fee, but me and Mrs. Stacker share an Amazon account, and I'm on her account. So why am I paying for this? Sure enough, somewhere along the way, I signed up for their free music trial, and over the last few months or so, I've been paying for it and I didn't even know. I also found that my promotional discount on my XM radio had finally expired and I was back to paying the normal rate. After calling and threatening to cancel, I was given a new quote discount, which saved me another $12 a month. Next was a recurring donation that I was paying on an obscure credit card that I never used, but since they threatened to close my account because of inactivity, a year ago or so, I set up a monthly donation of $25 and simply forgot about it. As an aside, this is also a good time to see if you're also paying for stupid fees like ATMs. So I canceled that $25 payment. I have to say, that wasn't bad for a first step. I quickly freed up around $55 right there. If nothing else, that's at least enough to cover the increase we've seen on 1 ounce gold eagles. And if we're talking silver, that's enough to cover the increase in premiums and still give me an extra ounce of silver. While it's easy to scrutinize discretionary spending like going out to dinner or the movies, the reality is sometimes we just need to treat ourselves by going out to dinner or grabbing Chipotle or even having a few beers with friends. Sometimes we just need these things to help us feel good. While you do need to examine your discretionary spending, I'm not going to go into that in this video. I'm going to leave that to you. This time, instead, I focus on what I call pseudo non-discretionary expenses, meaning these are the things that we think we need or we have to pay for no matter what. So let's dig a little deeper into that and I'll share with you what I found. The first thing I explored was my dreaded cable bill. And for years, I've complained about how expensive it is. And yeah, it's easy to call them every so often and trim $10 to $30 by getting rid of an extra channel package and stuff like that. But this time, I dug deep and I asked myself, do I really need cable? I mean, most of the time we're watching streaming apps, YouTube, listening to music, or I'm working on a video. When I really thought about it, most of the time cable was on, it was on for background noise. Any shows I watch, I can simply wait for them to show up on Hulu or some other app. So brace yourself. I actually got rid of cable and I saved myself $120 per month. I'm about 6 weeks into it and frankly, I don't even notice it that much. Actually, the thing I miss the most is looking over at the cable box to see what time it is. Now I gotta look the other direction for a clock. I know that sounds a little crazy, but while I was also on the phone canceling my cable, we looked into my internet and then we determined that I was at least 2 levels too high on my internet package. Not 100% sure what to do. I just split the difference and I went down 1 level and I saved myself an additional $20 a month. And again, I have not noticed a bit of difference in speed. In fact, folks, most of the time, our most limiting factor are our devices and not the internet speed we are paying for. That's what the rep told me. While this may be too dramatic for some, what I do know is $140 can definitely get me a few more ounces of silver a month. I challenge you to focus on those pseudo non-discretionary expenses. Because I truly hate these monopoly situations where, like the cable companies, cell phone makers, and the cell phone companies have taken advantage of us for years with their $1,000 plus cell phones and monthly plans that cost way over $100 a month. This video is all about saving you that money. And between getting rid of cable and switching over to Mint Mobile, I've been able to redirect a huge chunk of cash every month towards my stacking budget. And it only got better when I added Mrs. Stacker's phone line. Because switching might be one of the easiest ways to save money without having to sacrifice quality of service. And that's been my experience with them from the beginning. Again, this is all about saving you that money. And if you're keeping tally, that's how I freed up more than $300 a month that were going towards other places that now can go towards my stacking budget and reduce the impact the premiums have on my stack. Too often we focus on not making enough money when in fact, some of our greatest savings can be found by examining where we currently spend our money. As I start to wrap this up, I also want to speak to those that feel like they've trimmed all the fat that they can out of their budget. If so, here are some additional ways to help you get some extra cash to help with those premiums. 1, look for and use those refer a friend promotions. You can often get $25 to $50. 2, I want you to Google bank, checking, and saving promotions. Every month there are deals where banks will give you $50, $100, all the way up to $500 for opening an account. For example, I didn't include this in my $300 total, but I also signed up for an online account with Chase because they were going to give me $100 for opening an account, and all I have to do is conduct 10 transactions within 60 days. It took me less than 10 minutes to sign up. I put $200 in the account. I will complete my 10 transactions, get my $100, and close the account. I know it may seem like a lot for you to do, but for me, an hour worth of my time for $100 makes sense. I will make $100 or 3 ounces for 1 hour. I can do that all day long. As a word of caution, make sure you read the fine print because many of them do require you to set up a direct deposit in order to receive the bonus. The Chase one I used didn't. So while those bonuses can get up to $500, switching your direct deposit may not be worth it. In my opinion, it isn't. Some of you may remember that I did the same thing a few months ago with Aspiration and I got $100 or $150. I can't remember now, but there's always one coming up every month and it's just free money. Now, the next few suggestions are not, and I repeat, not recommendations or endorsement, but options that are available in the marketplace. For example, you can use www.adia.works/worker for side hustles. That's a great site. Make some extra cash by using sites like Ebates, who not only give you money back for the purchase you make, but they also give you $10 just for signing up right now. If you like playing video games, go to rewardedplay.com and let them pay you to play games. Do online surveys and get paid. NerdWallet has a whole list of sites where you can do surveys for money, like Swagbucks or Service Junkie. Heck, have your kid do it and split the money with them. Here's a link to the NerdWallet article. Where the rubber meets the road is that premiums are out of control. But what is in our control is how we spend or save our money. So increasing premiums are like a bag of lemons, and I suggest you start squeezing those lemons and make some lemonades. Or in our case, squeeze your budget so that you can get more medals for your dollars. In the comments, what are other ways that you've cut spending or reduced expenses? What are the other ways to reduce or counter premiums on medals? Or simply put an A+ in the comment section, because grades are due soon. Always stack smarter and never stop learning.